There's a report, a 2021 report on temporary foreign workers and the influx of immigration from the federal government that says essentially racism is a problem because people will come in, the managers will, and then they'll hire only their preferred nationality. And you say you saw that firsthand.
Well, yeah, I asked them why you always sit. One of the managers, she explained to me because they are cheaper to hire. I asked her, what do you mean? She said, because the government pay a little bit for their wages, so it's easier for the owners.
And these locations have different managers, but they all, you say, have the same owner.
Yeah, the same owner, but the same general manager as well. Yeah, one of the time I told one of the managers, I said to one of the employees, he put his fingers in his nose, twisted, and he started making special cheese. He started making the cheese. So congrats to all the 100 customers, you are eating a special cheese. Cheesy.
For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini here in Cobourg, Ontario, in front of one of the Tim Hortons locations on the east end of town. And I'm joined by I would call you a disgruntled former Tim Hortons employee who wishes to remain anonymous for this report. But you ultimately saw some very concerning things over your 4-year employment at this location and a few others that are under the same ownership. Can you tell us about where things went wrong?
In the last year and a half, the first 2 years and a half was amazing. There was nothing wrong about this place, but in the past 2 years everything was going wrong. Everything was going to the abyss. Everything, all the staff, in the beginning they were nice, the new employees, but at some point they started treating us differently. Some people they treating like specials, and some people treating like a garbage. By all the managers and some of the supervisors. They're all treated different. I'm gonna say one of the managers' name. I'm not gonna say their name, I apologize. I'm gonna call them SpongeBob, and the other one I'm gonna call them Patrick.
What was a factor in that shift that you noticed a year and a half ago?
New employees coming in, and they always speak different language, and they don't speak English at all. When the manager's on the floor, they speak English. But when the managers off the floor, they always speak different language. And the first time I complained about that was 2023, November. And I complained about that my last month, but there is nothing going on. And they're the same staff, not the new staff. I'm not the only one. There's different staff, they don't like working with them anymore because they always speak different language.
What would you say is the main language spoken?
Hindi. They always speak it. English was second option. And not they don't speak it, they just don't want to. They told her you have to stop it, so she makes sure that all the other staff, they don't do it anymore, but just for a while. She doesn't speak it anymore, but all the staff, they always speak it. As soon as the manager off the floor, they always different language. And we always hear our names in different language and have no idea what they are saying about us. Yeah, that's not respectful. And one time I asked them to speak English, they yelled in my face. They told me it's none of your business, so I didn't feel safe. So I went to the other side of the store. They start speaking louder, so I'm making sure I can hear them. And I was the only one who did not speak their language. And that was at the small store, the one beside the gas station. And when I told the general manager, she said she would talk with the other manager. She did, but nothing happened. And I texted one of the manager. She admitted they always speak different language.
Now, out of all the employees at the locations that you've worked, how many would you say are either Canadian-born or English as their first language employees?
It depends on the shift, but sometimes you can't find any. Sometimes only 1 or 2, except the managers. But the regular employees or supervisors, none. Only 1 or 2, 3, 4 at best. 4 of 10.
Wow. Are English speaking as their first language or Canadian born?
Yes.
You had expressed to some of your fellow coworkers and you shared with me the text messages that you felt as though you were being treated like a slave. What was the response to that?
This. We had the board name, make sure of the taxes. Every time I came, I see my name like that. And all the other supervisors, it's me and other 3 of the employees. Every time one of us work, the other supervisor, they feel like they're on vacation on the afternoon shift. They don't do anything else except customer serving, but cleaning, serving, anything else, no, all of us. Only me and other three my previous co-workers.
And another thing that you mentioned to me when we spoke off camera was about kind of the scheming and the scams and the fraud that seems to be happening at these locations. What was one incident specifically that you thought, this isn't right?
So the Google reviews, they start like paying us free meals. Not money, free meals to make a fake Google reviews. It's not just me, like for all the employees. And for every, like, even if your friend made a such Google review, you'll get like free meal. And some employees did it. One of them, like, he asked 4 or 7 of his friends to do it, and they did it. And one of the new managers, she made 2 fake accounts, one her own personal account and the second one, just to make fake Google reviews.
Now, one of these locations won second, I think it was across Ontario or across Canada, for their drive-through speeds. How did they scheme their way into that designation?
I'm not sure if it's Canada or Ontario, but we had a competition, all the Tim Hortons in, like, let's say in Ontario. Who's the fastest one? We used to drive our own cars and push it driving around the drive-through just to make sure our times get down. And when we went to second place. And I asked them, why we don't go for first? They said, don't go for first. Because if you went for first, the head office will send people just to see other people how you do the things.
And then they won because they were sending their own employees through the drive-through to push those speeds and get those times down.
And one of the customers caught us, that's why she stopped it. He did a Google review about it. I think she did it. She did a Google review about us. And she did a very big one. And who's replied to her? The manager husband. He's the one who replied to her. Like, he said, this place is perfect and there is nothing happening out. And no, they attacked her. They told her, if you don't like it here, don't come here.
And you say that the managers, they don't care.
No, they only care about the specific people. And other one else they don't care about. Like, I've been requesting to work for one location only, and they never get me that. And if I did a schedule in one location, they always put me on the same thing on the front, customer service. When I ask, why you don't put someone else, I don't mind doing it, but I don't want to do it every day, they told me, oh, they don't like doing it. They just don't know how to do it. And when every time we need the job done, one day I told my managers, I am not a supervisor. I said, I know you're not, but it depends on you to get the jobs done. Because they know they don't get anything done. I am not a supervisor, and I always treat me like one. And one time I said, I don't want to go to that location. Like, I had a big fight with the managers. They sent me for a whole week. So I texted her because they said, I don't want to go. Are you guys punishing me by sending me for 1 week? They told me, no, we just wanted to show the other staff and how to do the things right. I'm not even a supervisor.
Now, there's a report, a 2021 report on temporary foreign workers and the influx of immigration from the federal government that says essentially racism is a problem because people will come in, the managers will, and then they'll hire only their preferred nationality. And you say you saw that firsthand.
Well, yeah, I asked them why you always sit. One of the managers, she explained to me, because they are cheaper to hire. I asked her, what do you mean? She said, because the government pay a little bit for their wages, so it's easier for the owners.
And these locations have different managers, but they all, you say, have the same owner.
Yeah, the same owner, but the same general manager as well.
And what have you ever escalated your concerns up to the owner themselves?
About the new hiring, no. But I always complain about them, like, we are being treated differently. We are not feeling we are welcomed. And one time I told the general manager, I'm not feeling welcome out here. I said, sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. But when someone get hired, they treat them like special. Like, we had someone, employees, he was brand new. Actually, I'll tell a different story. One time, the managers and different managers, they went for delivery. I was on the drive-through. I was the only one who couldn't speak their language. The supervisor doesn't like me that much. He kicked me out from the drive-through and he brought his friend. And English was the second option on the drive-through. They did not speak it. Only with the customers and the bakers.
What would you say in terms of the hygiene and the sanitation that happens in these locations?
For me, when I used to go, I check the schedule. There's 3 employees. If they are working, I'm going. If they are not working, I'm not going. Yeah, one of the time I told one of the managers, I said one of the employees, he put his fingers in his nose, twisted, and he started making special cheese. He started making the cheese. So congrats to all the 100 customers, you are eating a special cheese. Cheesy.
Not a nice thought.
Yeah, when I told them that, she said, oh, that's gross. And they believed it. Like if I told them someone else did it, they will never believe it.
Right. And how does the health unit not hit them with these infractions?
Because they always let them know we are coming. So every time they are coming, they assign me to clean all the 3 stores. So I have got different locations to clean all of them. And one time I went to Cobourg just to clean it. Because they don't know how to clean. And even the manager admits, when your job is done, it's you. They give me the full list, and I have to do everything.
What would be your message to family or friends? Would you recommend they come to these locations?
I will say it again. I only used to come when 3 people's working in. One time I went to the drive-thru. I yelled by her name just so she can make my bagel. And one time I came, I figured she called in, so I just walked away. The only thing I would recommend going there is for hot chocolate or iced coffee. But anything else, no.
Well, especially we see a rise in things like hepatitis A, salmonella, cockroaches in people's iced coffees and locations in Scarborough. So it seems like this is only becoming more and more of a problem. How do you think it could be fixed?
Well, I don't know how it could be fixed, but here we didn't have any cockroach. We didn't have any cockroach here, like, was good. We didn't have any sour bugs. But guess what? The staff always use wear gloves and they touch everything else. Money, cups, garbages, and touch the donut.
You're supposed to be wearing these, I don't know what they're called, protective gear.
Yeah, so for the days they are safe. The days you all be good. But at the small store, we have one of the supervisors, he doesn't wear gloves. But for bakery, I would give them 8 of the 9, except one supervisor, he doesn't wear gloves at all. He touches beards, his phone, his microphone, his speaker, and he make donuts. Donuts, bagel, everything. Well, one time, the ice cap. So usually, the ice caps need to be blended for 15 seconds. We don't blend that for this much, only 5 seconds. And if the one of the manager caught you doing it for more than 15 seconds, they will start yelling at your face. Don't do it because our time will go up. When I did it once, one of the new managers, she kicked me out of the drive-thru and she brought her friends. And the ice cap, one of the customers caught them on Google reviews. They always put the ice cap and the cream outside, they don't put it in the fridge, so it just can be mixed ready. And the cream, the milk, they will stay there for 20 an hour.
That actually reminds me, another thing that you told me was the coffee, that it goes bad. Can you tell us about that?
The coffee is always expired. 9 out of 10 is expired, especially in the afternoon, and you can see that by the pot. It's flashing blue, that's meaning fresh. Green or yellow, it's meaning fresh. Red is dead, just die. It's not flashing, it's been an hour. And the steep tea is always dead, it's always expired. Unless if we ran out of tea, so we had to brew some, so that's it. And for the espresso, you have a machine. It's prepared for 15 seconds. They will just hit it just to make it faster. So the espresso will be sitting there for 20 minutes or an hour. So you will always get the wrong amount of espresso and you will always get an expired one.
Just in closing, do you have a message for maybe Tim Hortons corporate or the government who seems to be promoting and allowing this influx of people who aren't upholding the usual Canadian standard of care?
Well, I don't know what to say about that, but in 2015, one of the companies, I think called Canada Bill, they were doing fake Google reviews and they get fined $1 million. And the second thing I had 2022 for Canada flight, they get fined to $5 million. So if they didn't get fined, then what's the point of the act? Act 74 and Act 52.1, I think, or 51.1. So if they didn't get fined for that much, what's the point?
After filming this report, I reached out to Tim Hortons corporate with a series of very serious allegations. Allegations of fraud, mismanagement, coordinated Google review manipulation, unsafe and unsanitary workplace practices, discriminatory treatment of staff, and systemic abuse of the temporary foreign worker program. I didn't hold back. I laid out exactly what this investigation uncovered. And then I asked 7 straightforward questions that any accountable corporation should be able to answer. Things like what oversight Tim Hortons has in place to ensure franchise owners aren't exploiting temporary workers or violating labor laws, how franchisees are vetted, and whether corporate performs any meaningful ongoing compliance checks with them. I asked what safeguards exist for workers who report underpayment, retaliation, or unsafe conditions. I asked about the workforce makeup, whether Tim Hortons tracks how reliant its locations are on temporary foreign labor. I asked whether corporate is actually investigating allegations of fraud or labor abuses, and if not, why not? I asked how they address situations where owners or managers appear to be coordinating fake or incentivized Google reviews. And finally, I asked about language use in customer-facing roles and whether corporate considers a breakdown in communication between staff and customers or between staff themselves a service or safety issue. These were simple, fair questions, and I offered them the right of reply, which is grounded in responsible journalism. And here's what Tim Hortons corporate sent me back. Rather than address a single question, they accused me of making very serious allegations without supporting evidence, warning that publishing anything they deem inaccurate could be considered libel, and stated that they expect full access to all of my investigative materials before they would even consider answering. But hold up. That's not how journalism works. Responsible journalism gives a subject an opportunity to comment. It does not hand the subject of an investigation the evidence so that they can prepare damage control or perhaps scrub anything before publication. So I wrote back firmly but politely, and I resent every question word for word. Tim Hortons corporate responded again that if I'm unwilling to provide the additional details that they would require to properly investigate, I can use the statement previously provided. That's when they launched into full PR parade. We're proud that Tim Hortons restaurant owners across Canada are known for being leaders in their communities, whether it's through their generosity and giving back during charitable campaigns like Smile Cookie and Camp Day, by supporting local youth sports, or by providing employment opportunities that include valuable skill development and personal growth for team members. We have high expectations for Tim Hortons restaurant owners when it comes to serving guests and how they represent the Tim's brand. And if you have specific evidence to bring to our attention regarding any allegations, please do so that we may investigate it appropriately. I also reached out to the Competition Bureau of Canada. That's the agency responsible for protecting consumers and addressing deceptive marketing practices, to ask whether incentivized or coordinated Google reviews falls within their enforcement scope. Sent me back that fake or inauthentic reviews can mislead consumers and harm competition, while genuine reviews help shoppers make informed choices and reward honest businesses. Under the Competition Act, any review that falsely appears to reflect a real consumer experience could be considered misleading. The Bureau has acted in past cases, including, as mentioned, those with Bell, Flight Hub, and AmpMe, resulting in millions in penalties and agreements to remove misleading reviews. Penalties can reach $10 million or more, plus additional amounts tied to the benefit gained. The Bureau then encourages anyone who suspects misleading reviews to file a complaint through their online form. And so the door remains open. If Tim Hortons corporate or the Competition Bureau chooses to provide further clarity or additional information after this report airs, I will update you all. But if they choose not to, well, the public can draw its own conclusions about who is eager to clear the air and who isn't. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. Welcome to your new Canada, where our borders are in crisis and once beloved national treasures become casualties of government mismanagement. We're exposing the real-world fallout at yournewcanada.com. From lax vetting to political incompetence, these are the consequences Canadians are living with every single day. If you want to see the truth unfettered, please head over to yournewcanada.com and also support our work while you're there. Thanks in advance.